Hello and welcome to British Academy. Today I'm going to show you how to create API with Python, Flask, request in JSONify, and to test it a bit with Python, with Postman, and with Python, of course. So first, let's make sure that we have Flask installed on our machine. So we write from Flask import Flask, request, JSONify. And our app would be Flask underscore name, and the app route would be simply like this. No, it's not good like this. Let's have API/test, and the method would be post. Methods equal post. Yes, like this. And what I said is that we're going to have to verify that we have all this installed. So we can open a new terminal. We can write Python, just Python, and then we can simply copy this, and if it works, it's great. We have it installed. If it doesn't work, we don't have it. In our case, it works, so we have it. If not, it should be just simple pip install in the command, so that shouldn't be a problem. So back to the point, let's go back to the root and say, okay, app.route test, and let's write the test. Okay, test API. So I don't like just test API. And here we would say the data equals request dot get JSON. And we'll simply print the data just to see what it looks, and it would return data. Data would be okay to be returned. And okay, now my favorite one, if name equals slash main, then app.run, and the bug would be true. Just to let you know what this thing works. Well, this is what usually happens when you run a Python program. It looks for this one, and if it is main, it simply starts running the app run, which would be this one here, and it would start running. So it would start running Flask, and with the app root, it would, once we go into the test API, it would do its magic. So my question is, let's give it a try to start, and I'll probably explain it later as it goes, probably better. So here, how do we run this one? It's Python appy. That's a good one. Question, why doesn't it work? Answer, because we don't have anything to be working here. Another answer, honestly I don't know. It simply decides that it will not work this one, but it will run the second time I run it. So 1 minute ago it works. So let's go to our Postman that I have installed. In the Postman we click new, HTTPS post, and in our post we would say, okay, API/test API send, and of course before this we would have this one, okay, send, and it said something about unsupported media type, but the thing is that it is working, which is good. So we go to body, we go to row, we go to JSON, and here we say something like foo equals bar. Still no okay. How about this one? And we still get bad request, which is a bit not okay. Let's try to visualize it. No, bad request. Line 2, column 5. This is this one. Yeah. Okay, I know what the problem is. It's usually always this simple. As a Python developer, I have other ideas about things. Okay, you see, we asked for full bar, it returned full bar. We can say, and it also printed here full bar as we were talking about it. We can say data plus data to be printed. See, everything is working immediately. If we run it once more, obviously it doesn't like to print stuff like this. So if we have to print something, it would be f data. I'm just wondering whether this would work. Then yes, full bar. So if we'll do it like this, yes, it also returned full bar twice here. Impossible to visualize. Okay, so let's continue with the useless things. Except for this test API, I'll just leave it as it is. I'll make another app.root or route, as you probably think about it, and it would be code /API/greet. This would be the good old hello world. So let's see, div greet. And now I'm going to use literally the same thing, JSON, but I will be using something like name equals data slash name, and greeting would be hello there, and then the name. And would you be returning something? Of course, return. We will be returning the greeting in a JSON, and it would be a JSON format. So here we would have message, and here we would have greeting. Let's see whether this thing will work. I just press Ctrl S, as you can see from my terminal here. So going back to the Postman, instead of test API, I would pretty much create a new one called greeting. Just greet, then body, row, JSON, and here I'm looking for name actually, so it would be name. And my name is Vitos, so I'll do it this way. Something went wrong because method is not allowed. Okay, yes, I didn't change it to post. And you see hello there Vitos. And I haven't printed anything to the console, so this is how we do it so far. Hello there Vitos is probably okay. Let's make it a bit more fancy. You see I just wrote name. What happens if there is not name but name 1? And send. Really a lot of errors that should look like this. Visualize response. Okay, I'm not going to visualize it. Yes, key error means something's wrong. So let's make sure that we don't get the key error here. Pretty much it's a simple one. If name not in data, return JSONify error. So this is the key. and this is the value. Name is required, and we would return also 400. So read body name one Vitush. See error, name is required. If we return just name, tada. Hello there Vitush. What will happen if we get it like this? Name with a big one. Name is required, okay. I'm just thinking to write it okay like this. And name is required. Or more like probably required dash name. Yeah, makes sense. So what else should I write? I mean, for the first part of the API it looks okay. Let's add a few more functions, like let's add a function that actually multiplies numbers. So we start with up route slash API, and actually it would be better to square, because this way we would be giving the numbers just once instead of twice if it is multiplication. And then def square. Okay, so what can I reuse? I'll simply probably reuse everything and then simply change it. Okay, the data name would be number, not in data. Return error required number. Here it would be number, data number. Okay, we wouldn't have now greeting, we would have result, and the result would be number times 2, which actually means number to the power of 2. This is the Python way to do it. And the return would be return, okay, probably result, and result would be a good one. Actually, let's make it 3, so it's cube. I mean, let's make Python work for its, how can I say, for its meow and for its electricity. Yeah, cubing is a bit more difficult, so let's go here and see what can happen. Okay, so post, I'll put a cube here, body, row. I'm going to use the same one with the name. I'm just going to add something like comma, then number, and the number would be, I'll say 5, send, and yeah, 5 times 5, it's 25 times 5 is 125, makes sense. And if I say number A, okay, number A, yeah, okay, we have the number, but we are not checking whether it's a number actually. Let's go with like number 1 just to see how it will work. Yes, required number. Yeah, number 1 doesn't work. Okay, makes sense. What will happen if it is -5? Yeah, -5 is okay. This is exactly what we are expecting. So -5 is 125. And then let's continue with the last one for the video probably. This would be simple concatenation. Concat post concat. So data get JSON if string 1 not in data, or string 2, because we need 2 in order to concatenate not in data. Error required number 1, string 1 and string 2. Okay, so string 1 equals data, string 1, control C, control V, and string 2 equals data, string 2. And our result would be string 1 plus string 2. Return JSONify everything. Yeah, makes sense. So I'm going to copy this one. So we have cube, we have grid, we have test API, and now we should be having what was it? Concatenate. Concat. So here string 1 equals Vitush, string 2 equals academy.com, as this is my website. So let's make it executable in a bit. We need a comma here, and I think it should be okay. Let's take a look. Methods not allowed, methods not allowed. Yeah, of course methods are not allowed because of the get. Here required string 1 and string 2, string 1 and string 2, string 1, string 2. String 2 is a bit highlighted. Just guessing it's probably not happy. Let's see how we wrote it. Here string 1, string 2. Okay, now I got it. If string 1 not in data. Okay, this part of the video I'll leave now, not delete. Whenever you think you're a bad programmer, just remember what I just did. It's simple. If any is mistaken, now it should be working. Ta-da! Yes, and that's the result, vitushacademy.com. Okay, so far we have actually makes a lot of sense. Now let's think of another way how to continue the video. Let's write a few tests for the code that we wrote so far. So in order to make the tests, this should be on a separate file, which should be called, actually it should be called wherever the way we want it, but for our case it's good to name it just test underscore app.py like this, and simply start working. So import unit test, import JSON, and from app import app. This actually says that we are working with this one and we're importing that one. So class test app that actually inherits from unit test case, print testing. Let's see what will happen. Actually, I guess nothing because we are missing our best thing. If name equals main, then unit test main. Yeah, and now in order to run this one, I'm just deleting some stuff. I'm going to the terminal terminal. We can say Python test app py, and as you see it said testing, but the tests are not here. So just with this code I wanted to show a few things. First, that this test app class is called because it is test app, it is named like this, and our code knows what to call, which is great. And the second is that everything here is actually present. We didn't get something that we don't have. If there was a library that we didn't have, we would have get an error. So let's continue. So first thing we need to do is like a setup. What does it mean? Setup is pretty much we refer to the self app and its app test client, and then we will be self app testing equals true. Yeah, pretty much that's it. And I'll remove this beauty here. Oh no need, but yeah, don't like it. So let's start with the test cube, endpoint and returns from self, and we would have our data would be, what was it, number, and we were testing with 5. Yes, so response self app post API cube JSON equals data, and the result would be JSON loads response data decode UTF-8. Like this. So self assert equal response status equals 200, and self assert equal result that was the name equals 125. I think this was it. And just to make to see that actually it is calling this one, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to change it a bit just to show it. Cube data print checking the cube. Okay, Python test up, checking the cube appeared. We have 1 dot, which is actually great, and our test just passed. Do we return actually 200? I'm not saying 200, but I think 200 is by default, so everything's great. Okay, let's see 201. What will happen if we do it like this? Oh yeah, assertion error 200 is different than 201. So we are obviously with Flask here doing some trick and returning 200 without even understanding it, which is good. I mean, it's very good. Let's remove this thing because I don't like it. Print checking the cube, or I'll actually leave it. Accessing. Okay, doing multiplying 3 times the same value. Yeah, I mean, this is actually what the cube is for. Yeah, and let's add a few more tests. So def test cube negative number. I'll pretty much get this. So -3 -3 times 3 is 9, -3 is -27, -3 is 9, and then -3 is 27. Let's see, I'm just curious, that's why we need tests. Okay, multiplying 3 times the same value. I didn't press save. Okay, multiplying 3 times the same value, then we have the dots, then we have multiplying 3 times the same value. I can write like this just to make it a bit better. Yes, multiplying 3 times the same value, multiplying 3 times the same value, and dot. And I can actually comment it somehow just to have everything clean. This is the idea. You see like 2 dots for 2 tests, and then it says run 2 tests in 0.06 seconds. And last test would be cube missing number. Yeah, makes sense. So data would be just empty response and result should be like this. Yes, and then self should be self.assert equal. Pretty much the same. Status code but 400. And assert in the word error should exist in the result, because this is what I remember from here. Error required number. Okay, 400, like this, like this. Okay, so Control S, Python test, and assert in actually should be written with a big I. Let's try again. And this is it. We just wrote a really simple API, which is an API with just 4 entry points. The first one sends a greeting, the second one is a test, then we have one that multiplies 3 times the same value, so cubes it, and another one that concatenates 2 strings. Additionally, we just wrote 3 tests for one of the API entry points, and I really hope you have enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.